What's going on, everybody? This is Al from PlaybookGamer.com. And in the last Dynasty video, we went through our first offseason with Penn State. We had a great run with Syracuse, ended up with a national title. I took the Penn State job, and we went through the offseason. We looked at recruiting, position changes, cutting players, things of that nature. And today we're going to have our first preseason of this Dynasty of Season 1. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to look at our schedule. We're going to look at some redshirting, our depth chart. We're going to recruit as well. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go over to preseason options, and let's talk about our schedule. Now, I have already set this up. I've done all the setup work over my Patreon page. I've done a video on that and talked about my roster more in depth. So make sure you go check that out if you're interested. But here is our schedule. We have an A+ schedule, and we have an open week in that first week, which most teams don't play that week anyways. But we're going to start off our schedule with a game against Pittsburgh. They are one of our three rivals in this game. I think it's Pittsburgh, Minnesota, and Michigan State. Well, Minnesota and Michigan State are conference teams, so we'll probably play them every single season. But I would like to have a home-and-home with Pittsburgh every single season, just because, again, they are a rivalry of ours. So we're going to start off with a game against Pittsburgh. We're going to have another home game against Idaho, and then things get really, really challenging. We're going to take on Nebraska. Now, in this game, you got to remember they're in the Big 12. I saw they were ranked, and it's been a while since I played in that stadium, so I figured that'd be a cool little storyline to take them on this season. Then we head into our conference schedule. We're going to have at Northwestern, Minnesota at home, and then back-to-back Ohio State and Michigan. Woof, that's going to be really tough. One's number 12, the other one's 15th in the country. Then we're going to take a trip to Illinois, Champaign, and then we're going to have a home game against number 9 Purdue. So that month right there is absolutely brutal, to say the least. Then we got another home game against Wisconsin, an open week, and then we're going to end the season with one of our top rivals in Michigan State, and they're 13th in the country. So we got 5 ranked games on the schedule. Going to be brutal, but it's going to be a lot of fun, and that's one of the reasons why we moved up into a bigger conference like the Big Ten. Let's talk about our red shirts. Now, this is the first time we get to look at our roster as a whole. We'll talk more about the team once we head over to the depth chart section, but I want to show you how I handled my red shirting. So when it comes to quarterback, we got 2 really good players, both young sophomores, but I'm not going to redshirt either one. One of them's going to start, and I need a decent backup behind them. You go to halfback, we only got one option to redshirt, and that's our top player, and we're not going to redshirt him, obviously. You go to fullback, we run a pro-style offense. I need 2 active fullbacks at all times, so I'm not going to redshirt here. You go to wide receiver, we do have 7 players, and I'm going to redshirt a couple of guys. So we got 3 players up here. We got Hall, Butler, and Pascal. And I'm going to redshirt this freshman, Dan Adams. I don't think we'll need him this season. Definitely probably will next year, but I don't think we will this season, because we got Orstander right there. There's kind of like the same player. And then I am not going to redshirt Charles Grant. Now, you notice he's number 19. I went through all the newcomers. That's usually when I like to change numbers around, jersey numbers, if I feel like they deserve a new cool number. And I didn't really touch any of these, and I thought it was a cool number that Charles Grant got, 19 as a wide receiver. He's a little jitterbug. He's got that 95 speed. He's going to play quite a bit for us just because of that speed alone, and his catch is actually pretty decent too. So keep that in mind. And I am going to redshirt our worst receiver of the bunch. He's a humongous, big old wide receiver, but I don't think we'll need him this season. So I'm going to have 5 active. I normally like to have 6, even in a pro-style offense. However, our best player on the team is a tight end, and he's going to be on the field pretty much every single play. Even in our 5 wide sets, I'll probably use a sub package there. But as you can see here, we don't have to redshirt anybody. Same at tackle, no redshirt opportunities. We do got several opportunities at guard. Notice we got 6 freshmen and 1 senior. And I'm going to redshirt a couple of these freshmen. We're going to redshirt Marcus Richard and Brandon McDowell. You notice several of these guys are kind of like the similar. You see these 2 guys are similar. These 2 are similar in terms of their overall. Now, our best offensive lineman, of course, is Alfred Washington. He's going to start at one end. And then I just had to pick, honestly, who I wanted to go with. And I decided to go with Watts as going to be our starter at the left. But either way, we're going to redshirt a couple of these freshmen. I'd like to have 4 active at all times. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. And we got this kid right here, 68. So we technically got 5 active, but he's so bad, I don't want him to be a backup. No offense to him. You go to center, and we got 3 freshmen, and this is kind of a weakness of our offense and the team in general. I don't have any really good guards that I can move over that can play center. So we got 3 below average guys, and I'm going to redshirt 1. I just need 2 active, and we're going to keep these 2 guys right here active. You look at defensive end, our best player at defensive end is not going to redshirt. That's obvious. And we got a senior. I don't run a redshirt a senior. I just don't think it's worth it. I'd rather flush him out and bring in some new talent after that. So there's nobody to redshirt here, honestly. Defense tackle, a little bit different. We got 7 players here at defensive tackle. I'm going to redshirt a bunch of these young pups right here. And we're going to have 4 active. That's usually enough. Smith, Rogers, and Burks, 2 young guys, new guys coming in. This guy was a JUCO. And the Spencer guy. So I think we're going to be okay there. Now, when it comes to outside linebacker, I'm not going to redshirt this junior. I just don't think he's good enough to redshirt. I want to redshirt guys who are worthy, who need it, but it can really help us down the road, and I don't think this guy will. And besides, I need 4 active outside linebackers at all times. Now, middle linebacker, we got a couple freshmen or a couple new guys here, Chris Pruitt and Antoine Taylor. He was another JUCO that coming in this recruiting class. I have 3 active. That's more than enough. Now, notice we got some decent talent there, 84 and 80. We can do some 4-4, even some 3-4. Quarterback, I'm not going to redshirt anybody here for the sole purpose of, for one, these 2 guys right here are my starters, William Jean and Jake Weaver. Both of them got really good speed. My nickel, my number 3 guy, I want this to be the junior. This is the athlete that we moved over to corner, all because of that right there, 96 speed. You can't go wrong with that. I want to blitz from the nickel quite a bit in this defense. And having that speed is really going to help. So we're not going to redshirt anybody, but as you can see, we're very top heavy in terms of seniority. We got 2 juniors and 3 seniors, so this is definitely a recruiting need for this coming recruiting class. Free safety, pretty simple situation. We got 2 pretty good guys here and a freshman. I'm going to redshirt the freshman. I always need a backup behind my starter. Strong safety, same thing. We got 2 good guys here and a guy that I can't redshirt, so this is pretty obvious that I didn't have to do any redshirting for this position. You go to kicker. We're going to redshirt the freshman. Pretty obvious here. Why? Now, I don't know. We'll probably have to recruit over this guy. I was hoping he'd be better, but again, we didn't have a lot of choices at kicker in this recruiting class. But either way, we won't need him this season. And we obviously can't redshirt our punter. So that is our red shirts. Let's go over to roster and let's talk about the depth chart. And I'm going to explain a few things. First of all, we got 2 good quarterbacks here, but I'm going to start Antonio Goff over Campbell. Now, I'm running a pro-style offense. I need a guy who can throw the ball. Pretty simple. Campbell's got the better legs. He's got 78 speed over Goff, of course, but you go over here to their throwing power and accuracy. Goff has a killer arm. Better power and even way better accuracy. So we'll see how he handles it. Now, if our offensive line can't protect us at all, I may have to play Campbell just so he can run around a little bit. Because again, our guard situation at left and our center it's a bad situation. And I think we got like an average starting left tackle. It just, our offensive line's a bit of a struggle. But I'm going to see if Goff can handle it. Hopefully our offensive line can handle that as well. But again, if not, I'll definitely start Campbell over Goff, or we'll just be in the shotgun a little bit more often just so he can kind of get away from that line. When it comes to halfback, I'm going to let Jonathan Walker carry most of the load. As you can see, he's just a little bit better than the rest of them, but I think I may sprinkle in Swain and or Bolden in a couple of formation stuff just to give Walker a bit of a break. But it's pretty simple what we're going to do here at halfback. Fullback, I'm going to start a Howard over Coker. Both of them got the same speed. Both of them got terrible awareness. Neither one can carry the ball. Both of them got pretty bad catching rating. So these guys are mainly just going to block for us. Hopefully these guys can block well enough. If they can't, we got plenty of ace and single back or one back formations to make do. Wide receiver, here's what we're going to do. So we're going to have Tim Butler going to be our X receiver. He's going to be on the left, 6'6", 213-pounder. I need a big old dude on that side who can make catches. We're going to have Jamie Hall on the right side. I think we're going to just do that for now. You look at their catch ratings, Butler's actually got a better catch. We're going to do a lot of play action over the top, and a lot of that's going to be with our Z receiver. That's kind of another reason I wanted Jamie Hall on the right. But either way, we are in really good shape with these 2 guys right here. Now, our slot receiver is going to be Charles Grant, the freshman. Really excited about this kid. Again, look at that speed he's got, and he's got a pretty good catch to go with it. Hopefully, he can handle that position. As we all know, 3rd and long, we tend to go over the middle to like a post or whatnot, and this guy's going to have to be able to handle that. If not, we can adjust. Then we got Pascal behind Grant, and then Orstander. So the reason why Pascal isn't above some of these other guys is, one, his speed isn't very good, and his catch is just as good as Grant, but I need some speed in the slot. So that's another reason why I've done that. And we got Orstander at 5. So we could technically go 5 wide without putting our tight end in there. But either way, I prefer to have our tight end on the field at all times because he's an impact guy, as you see here. Big Jesse Lewis. Hopefully he'll be our MVP this year. I'm going to try to get him the ball a ton. He's not the fastest in the world, just 74 speed, but he can really catch the ball for a tight end. Now, our number 2 guy is going to be Terrence Ford. He's got good speed, but his catch isn't all that good. But this guy's bigger and can catch. Be honest, because of our offensive line is as weak as it is, I think I may need to put Marcus at the number 2 spot. I'm not too worried about giving the ball to my number 2 tight end. We need good blockers because our run game is super important. So I'm just going to make a judgment call right there. And we're going to put Marcus at the number 2 spot. Again, just because he's much bigger and I'm not too worried. And he can catch even better. So I think that's a good decision right there. Let's talk about the offensive line. So May is over James at left tackle. That looks pretty obvious. Left guard, we're going to have Watts, true freshman, over Miller. I wish this guy was bigger, but he's just not, but he's much stronger at least. Center, we're going to have Ingram over Hartman. They're both equally bad. No offense to them. It's just, it is what it is, but he's much bigger than this guy, and weight matters in this game. So we're going to have Ingram starting there. Right guard, very obvious, Alfred Washington is our starter. We need more guards like that, just in terms of height and weight and strength. Hopefully we can recruit some of them. Right tackle, John Johnson. 6'2", 350, definite starter there with a right tackle back up and Carlos Johnson behind him. Let's talk about left ends. We'll get on defense. Gordon and then Webb and then Wiggins. I got plenty of defensive ends to where I can keep all the left ends on one side and all the right ends on this side. And I'm going to have Hughes start over West. He's just faster. You can't have more speed. There's no such thing as too much speed on defense. So I'm going to have him start over West, but we're in really good shape here. And what I may do at defensive end, I may do some formation subs to where I can sub in Webb and West in a couple other formations just to give those other guys a break. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully I don't forget to do that. Defensive tackle, we're going to have Smith and Rogers and then Burks and Spencer behind them. This will be the main rotation, these 3 right here. Yes, I could have subbed in and out Rogers or Burks, but I needed a little bit more weight, and this guy's a little bit faster. We'll just say, as we all know, defensive tackles tire pretty easily in this game, so all 3 of these guys are going to play quite a bit. You go to outside linebacker, we're going to have Harden, and then Williams, a backup middle linebacker, because our backup left outside linebacker is a 56 overall. He's awful. Hopefully he doesn't see the field any this season. Middle linebacker, Patterson, Parker, and Williams. And then right outside linebacker, we got big Demetrius White with Williams behind him, and then McCallum, because again, he's just not very good. So notice who our backup outside linebacker is. It's Lawrence Williams on both sides. So whenever one of those guys goes out, he's going to get plugged in. So let's go over to corner. We got Gene and Weaver, and I want the JUCO athlete Travis Johnson as my number 3 guy. But we can run a little dime. Notice our 4th guy is an 80 overall. So we have a lot of different opportunities on defense to use a lot of different formations. So that's why I put multiple as my defense. Because I have good depth at free safety. As you see here, we got 2 guys that look about the same. You got Andrew Halterman. I'm going to have him start first only because of his speed. I got to have speed at free safety. Like 90% of the time, I got him back there in coverage. Strong safety, I'm going to have Adams over Jenkins. A lot of times I have my strong safety down low because what I'm going to do in this defense, we're going to be hyper aggressive. We're going to do a lot of man, a lot of cover 1, and even some cover 0. And it's kind of like an all or nothing. We're going to put our corners on an island, which I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but that's just something I want to do. Having said that, this is why I want Clinton Adams starting, because he's much stronger. I think he's a better tackler too, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he's a better tackler. He's like a 4th linebacker to us in this defense. And then kicker, obvious what we got to do there, and same for punter. Kick return, what we're going to do here, I'm going to have that freshman, Charles Grant. He's going to be our starter on the kickoff along with that JUCO athlete. So we got our 2 fastest guys on the team, 2 newcomers, going to be doing the returns. Along with the punt return, it's the same thing. I'm going to have Grant over Johnson for now. And a lot of that is usually due to he's got a little bit better catch as well. So I'm really excited about these 2 guys and what they can do for us this season. And kickoff starters, this is actually a tough decision. We got Richards over Weaver. I'm going to put the punter here. Now you go over here to their kick power and accuracy. He's just got the little bit better leg, but not much. They're about equal. It's just what matters the most. Both of them got good enough accuracy. He's got a little bit more power. I'm hoping this will lead to more touchbacks. You go to long snapper. it's a bad situation one way or the other, but normally I put my backup center as the starter there. All right, that is it for the depth chart. I'm going to go over to rosters, and I'm going to show you our captains. You go over to your entire roster, you sort your awareness, and it's usually your seniors with the highest awareness. So in this case, we got senior Alfred Washington, our right guard. He is a team captain on offense, and on defense, you go down here. We got Lance Webb, the senior left end, 82 over awareness. There he is. Team captain on the defense. Those are your team captains. You go over to program standards. We hinted at this a little bit in the previous video. We are in incredible shape here. We got lucky. The first time I saw this was when I actually made the off-season video. So we just got lucky they weren't on probation or something of that nature. All right, what is next? I think what is next is I want to talk about the playbook. Nothing changed since from the previous video, but this is the playbook. We're running a pro-style offense. We got 6 of our 9 formations are under center. We got 3 ace formations. We got a 13, a 12, and a 12, but notice the theme. We got H-backs in there. So we got a 3 tight end set up with an H-back. We got another H-back and another H-back. We're going to do a lot of motion, move those guys around. That's going to help our running game, hopefully, and even some of our passing game. I also want to throw in some 2-back sets, and we're going to go with the strongs for now. We got strong twin tight end, that's a 22 personnel set. Strong twins, that's 21. And then strong slot. So we'll see how this goes. The only change I can see maybe making, I may exchange strong slot with like gun 2-back slot or maybe pro slot. Just, I wanted a 20 personnel formation in there of some sort, and we'll just stick with the strong ones for now. And then we got 3 shotgun formations. That's more than enough. These 3 have the most meat on the bone in terms of just good plays. And they all kind of do the same thing. They're pretty much all 2x2 sets. Of course, besides 5 wide, it's a 2x3. So that is it. That's going to be a fun little pro-style offense, and I'm really looking forward to unleashing that. When it comes to audibles, I have not set these up. I know pretty much what I'm going to do. Like, for example, like ace, big tight end, wide receiver. We're going to do a lot out of this one, and I'm going to do some play action. Like PA rollout will probably be one there. I can go to ace twins. I can pick another one here. Let's see. PAC may be a good one because that's a very good man beater. I'll probably go there. And then I'm going to fill out the rest of those a little bit later. So I'm not too worried about that at the moment. I'll deal with that again at another time. But most of that will be play action whenever I see like cover 0, things of that nature. Let's talk about the Athlon Sports. Let's look at the team or the game as a whole. And we got preseason. So we got Oklahoma, Cal, LSU, Texas Tech, so on and so forth. We are down. Where are we? We are 54th in the country, but we're a B overall, B- on the offense, B on defense, and A- on special teams. We would be higher if they would have had a better season last year, but that's just not the case. So when you go back up the top, I thought some of the rankings were interesting. Like they got a B+ Oklahoma over an A Cal. Maybe because Oklahoma just played better than Cal last year. Who knows? I'm not going to overthink that, but there's still a lot of good teams out there. But I think we can compete out of the gate. I think we got enough talent to try it. We'll just see how that goes. Let's go to Heisman Watch. And who's at the very top of the list? J.D. Hill, Syracuse. I like to pat myself on the back for turning him into a Heisman candidate. Hopefully he has a really good season. I may put them on our schedule next season if I don't forget it. We may have them and Pitt on the schedule in the non-conference part. But we got a bunch of other quarterbacks, kid out of UTEP, Toledo, NC State, and a halfback out of Arkansas starting off. Let's talk about the preseason All-Americans and All-Conference players. Starting off, look at the backfield of Syracuse. You got Sullivan, and you have, oh, that's Arkansas. I'm sorry. Then we got J.D. Hill right there. I don't know if we'd have anybody on here. I'm just quickly kind of going through there. I saw a Nebraska kid we'll have to go up against, middle linebacker. What about second team? I don't know if we'd have anybody on here either. No. Let's go over to the Big Ten. Maybe we'll have somebody here. We got a couple. Okay, so we got an outside linebacker, Demetrius White, and we got Jake Weaver, and a strong safety, Jake Jenkins. Do I even have him starting? I actually think I have him as a backup. Either way, we could actually run some 4-2-5 and 3-3-5 with that depth at strong safety, especially with those two guys. What about second team? Look at that. Eric Campbell is the second team, but we're not even having him start yet. But we got Swain right there. He's not starting. We got Walker over him. So we got some interesting preseason guys. Again, I got to go with what I feel is best for our roster. Adam Thornton, free safety, he's not starting for us. So again, I think that's just really interesting. They got a bunch of backups in here. They must have just played better last season. So that is your preseason All-Americans and all conference players. Let's go to conference outlook. So Purdue is 9th in the country, Ohio State at 12, Michigan State at 13, Michigan at 15, Iowa at 17. We're playing all 4 of these teams. So the top 4 teams in our conference we're going up against, they have us 7th. But I think we can squeeze up in here and really compete with some of these guys, at least this season. We'll see what happens next season when I got to flush some more players out. But there we are. We got a tough road to hoe, but I think we can handle it. Let's go over to toughest places to play. Now, this is fun for the fact that I think we can do something here. Unfortunately, there we go. So we're 22nd in the country, so we can monitor this for the rest of this dynasty and see if we can keep moving up. We need to win a bunch of home games in order for that to happen. I'd love to see us get up to the very top. I see no reason why we can't, but we got to win in order to do that. All right, what's next? I think it's recruiting. So let's talk about a little recruiting and what we need. So we go here, and in terms of just numbers, we need a defensive end. We need an outside linebacker, at least a corner. But you notice over on the far right, it tells you we technically need 2 outside linebackers and 2 corners. According to my list, we have certain positions that we just need help next year right away. One of them is halfback. Walker is by far our best halfback. He'll be gone. He's a senior. Center is a bad position. We need that in the worst way because you notice the ratings over here on the left, we have a C at center. That's not good. We need to get rid of all these C pluses and C's and turn them into B's and A's and whatnot. So center is a big issue. Corner is a big issue. I got that on my list. An outside linebacker. So this pretty much matches up what I was looking for on my list earlier. So what I like to do here, I don't have any recruiting restrictions. Where at Penn State, we should be recruiting the best players possible. But I'm going to keep certain pipelines that I really care about. Pennsylvania. I want Ohio to be a pipeline. It's right beside us. New Jersey, Maryland. And somebody made a good point. Syracuse could be a good pipeline as well. New York could be a good pipeline because that would be a good storyline because we recruited New York because we were at Syracuse for 4 years. So I think I may keep that as a pipeline. So what I want to do first is just to make sure our pipelines are up to date. So let's just see what our pipelines are. So I'm quickly going through all these. And we're going to find our pipelines and work from there. Maryland is still a pipeline. I want to keep it as such. It tends to produce a decent amount of talent for as small as a state as it is. You keep on going. Pennsylvania should definitely be one, of course. So New Jersey is another one. Notice that little red bar over here on the right. They just produce a lot of talent. I want to keep it as a pipeline, and it's right beside us, so it's close. You keep on going. New York. Okay, so it's still a pipeline. We'll make sure to try to keep this as one if possible, as long as they got the players that we're looking for, obviously. We keep on going. Ohio, I want it to be a pipeline. As you can tell, they produce so much talent. It's just ridiculous. About the same as Pennsylvania. And speaking of, there is our home state. And I think that's it. I want to go through these one more time. Let me just get to the end of the list first. And that is it. So we know what our pipelines are. So the next thing I want to do, I'm going to go to Pennsylvania first. Let's just start off with our home state. So quarterback is something I think we need, but not for this season. We can wait till the off season and hopefully find somebody. What I'm going to do normally is I'm going to really recruit 4 guys at the most. Pretty much what I've done with Syracuse. Go after 3 or 4 guys at the most and really hammer those home in the regular season. So you see here at quarterback, we got all 4 of those guys coming back. And I want to recruit the best guys I could possibly can find. And this guy doesn't fit the bill. He may have a killer arm, but my guess is not. But anyway, it's not a big position of need. Halfback is. Now, this is a 3-star kid. We could probably do better than that, so I'm going to bypass him. He's got a great name, though, Pierre Baker. Let's keep going. Wide receiver, here's a 4-star kid, Joe Trott, 6'1", 205, A+ awareness, and a 3-star kid behind him. As you can see, at wide receiver, we got 6 guys coming back. So this isn't a big position to need, but I wouldn't mind at least maybe trying this guy out. We'll see. We got a tight end, a 4-star tight end. So this is the type of tight end I'm going to go after because we're going to be a run-heavy offense. Now, we're going to be balanced. You know, if I need to throw a lot, I can do that. But I need tight ends who can really block for us as well. If this guy has any good catch rating at all, he's worth going after. And you look at our tight end situation, we got 2 sophomores and a junior. Him being a 4-star kid, I at least don't mind him putting on the list and see if he's worth going after. We'll see. Now, when it comes to offensive line, this is our biggest weakness. We need help there in the worst way. We got 4 tackles coming back next year, but I'd like to find somebody as good as I possibly can. So this kid right here at the very top, he's a top 50 player. He's definitely worth it because of the squat alone. He's super strong. We got another 4-star kid. He's got a little bit better bench. and he's bigger, but I'm going to go ahead and just take a chance on this guy for now. A guard, this is another position of need, and he's humongous, 6'7", 344. I'll probably go after him just because of the size alone. That's about as big as a guard as you can find anywhere. He'll probably be the only 3-star we'll go after or look at in this regular season cycle. Here we got a 4-star center. We know this is our biggest problem on the team. Let's go after him right now. Might as well. Defensive end, let's see, outside linebacker is another big need. Yes, I can move a middle linebacker over if needed. But here's a 4-star kid that runs a 4.46. I need speed at outside linebacker. We're going to run a ton of man, so I need speed on the back 7, period. And these guys are going to be chasing around slot receivers and tight ends a lot. So we'll definitely go after him. Middle linebacker, we're kind of good there. I could take a chance on like one of these guys, but it's just not a big need at the moment. Let's go to corner. This is kind of a big need. We need some help here, as you can see. I like height and smarts and speed. So this kid right here, 6'1", runs a 4.33. I'll definitely put one on him. 4.48 is too slow for me. 6'4", 4.41. Whew, man. I love the height, and he's big. He's got a good squat too. He's not the smartest, but I'm gonna go ahead and just take a chance on him. Anytime you can find somebody 6'4", that just pays dividends if he can swap balls down and whatnot. Free safety, we're kind of good there. We're kind of good at strong safety. So I'm not too worried about these guys, although I like the size of that free strong safety. So, okay, we've already went through 7 scholarships, so we got to be careful going forward. The next one we want to go over is, let's go to New Jersey. If I can get to it. There we go. Let's go over to all. And we got to be just really selective here. I need to find one really good halfback and another... I don't know. When it comes to defensive end, I think I may just move some linebackers down if needed. I don't mind doing that. But when it comes to halfbacks, we got to find somebody really special. So I'm not worried about quarterback. Here are a couple 4-star kids, like this kid right here. I prefer somebody who's pretty strong, who can break a tackle. 4.48 is more than fast enough. I don't need super speed here. I really like this guy. He's just much stronger than this guy. So I'm going to go ahead and take a chance on this power guy, Dave Stover. And let me just go back to the all. And let me just see here. They got a bunch of 4-star kids. Look at all these. There's another center that I could look at. I need some smarts at center, though. I need guys who can avoid high snaps. Here's a tall corner, 6'1", 172, runs a 4.35. That's really good. I need speed at corner the worst way. More outside linebackers, 4.52. Let's look at this corner. And I think I may be done with New Jersey. I actually want to go over to, let's look at Maryland really quick. We'll just do the all. And you see all these 4- and 5-star. Here's a 5-star middle linebacker, 6'3", 185 corner. Golly. From 4.29. Again, we're going to run a lot of man. I need speed at corner and linebacker. I'm going to go there. I think he's just worth at least looking at. Defensive end, again, I'm not worried about that. Wide receiver, we're kind of okay there for now. We got plenty of freshmen. I also want to go over to Ohio. Actually, we need to look at New York. I forgot about that. So here's New York. Here's some 4-star kids. Here's some linemen. 6'7", 326, 4-star kid. I think it's worth it. Again, we got to build those lines in the worst way. So I'm going to go ahead and put one on him. And here's a big old tight end. I'm not too worried about that. So I think that's probably the only one I really want to look at this point. Last one is Ohio. Here's a 5-star halfback, Brian Smith. I'm going to go ahead and just put one on him. Might as well. But here we got a 6'3" corner as well. We're going after a couple other corners. And here's some wide receivers, another tight end. Let's go ahead and take a chance on this big old halfback. He's a speedster, but I think this guy, he's got 6'20" squat. I think that's really good. So let's go ahead, and we've used up all of our scholarships. Let's do that for now. So let's go over to play week, and we're going to sim the week, and then we're going to look at our recruits, and we'll go after 3 or 4 guys and really hone in on those players. And then we'll get right into our season. It's going to be a lot of fun. So let's go head over to recruiting. Here are the 12 guys we're going after. The first thing I like to do is look for pitch feedback. Look for a positive pitch. You know you have a really good chance of getting that kid. So far, I'm not seeing it. Not yet. Not a single one, and that's okay. It's not the end of the world if you can't find one. So I don't see a positive pitch anywhere, but you notice we're kind of high up for some players and lower for others. I'm not too worried about kind of where we're at the beginning. To me, it's all about just how many points you could put into a kid and see what you can get out of it. So here's a kid out of Ohio. Here's the big 5-star halfback. Looks like he really wants to go to Syracuse, but I think this kid's kind of a game changer. I don't need good hands. My halfbacks aren't going to catch the ball a lot in this offense. I think this kid is worth going after. For now, I'll probably do 20. I may go after 5, we'll see, but let's just do 20 there. This outside linebacker, 4.46. I need speed here in the worst way. Again, we're going to run a ton of man. He's going to be chasing down a lot of players, and we're kind of high on his list. I think that may help us a little bit. Let's go put 20 on him. I'd like to go after one lineman at least. Here are a couple of tackles. Let's pick one. Here's one out of New York and one out of Pennsylvania. So let's go after the one that's got the biggest and the strongest. So this guy's 6'7", 326, and his squat's 690. This guy's 6'5", 315, and his squat is 715. And he's actually got bigger bench as well. So I want to go after the local kid. I think that's just worth it. I think he's the better of the two. So let's go put 20 here. I'd like to go after one corner. Let me look at this halfback real quick. 380, 640, and this kid is 340, 620. So this guy's much stronger, and he's actually got better hands, and his awareness is good. So honestly, this guy may be worth going after instead of the halfback. He's much stronger. He's going to be able to break tackles. I'm not too worried about the speed part, even though this guy is just much faster. I mean, that 4.31's nice, don't get me wrong. But this guy is much stronger. So I actually think I may just bypass that 5-star and go after this kid instead. Let's do that. And I'm sure we may have no problem going after a halfback in the offseason, but let's do something like this. I actually like that better. And it's a pipeline, New Jersey, so that's good. So we got a couple more spots left. We got some corners. We got a center. Let's just go through here. So here's a center. How many centers am I looking at on this list? I only got one on here. Is that correct? Yes. And this center's got A awareness, 6'3", 296. He would be a day one starter for us. He's probably a take just because we need that in the worst way. I probably just need to go ahead and do this. And let's go after one more guy. So we got a corner. Let me look at this tight end. B+ hands, and he's big. So this isn't a big area of need for us. So you go back and look, we got all 4 of our 3 of our tight ends back next season, unless Lewis wants to go pro early. So I am not going after this kid. I kind of wish I could, but I'm just not going to. It's just not a big need. What is a big need is cornerback. And here's this guard. Let me look at this. That kid is humongous. Golly, I kind of want to go after that kid. Let's look at one of these corners, and we need to put a corner on the list. So here's 4.35. We got 4.33, and we got 4.41. 4.33, 4.35. His vertical's a 41.6, and this guy's a 39.5. That's just kind of tough. Pennsylvania, New Jersey. I think this kid may be the best of the bunch. Let's just go after him. Let's go after Derek Carpenter. Let's do 20 here. So let me see. I'm out of points. This outside linebacker, I got to have. It just we need speed there in the worst way. And again, I could move over a middle linebacker if needed for next season, but we only got 4 active middle linebackers. I know I'm moving one of those guys to defensive end. So if I'd done that, then we'd just be down to 2 middle linebackers next year. So I think that's a smart decision going after this kid. Then this tackle, Kelly Love, I think we just need help on the line. That's pretty obvious. And again, I like him just a little bit better than the other guy. This guy's a little bit heavier. This guy's got better strength. So let's go there. I feel good about those two. I think this is the best halfback for our situation. He's just stronger. He can break tackles, and he's got better hands, even though I'm not going to throw to the halfback a whole lot. So I think I'm going to stick with him. And this center, it's our biggest weakness. I think we just need to go after him. And then one corner, that's a big need of ours, and this seemed to be the top corner of the bunch. Well, my bad. Here's another corner. Let me look at this guy. So runs a 4.29, 6'3", 185. I completely bypassed this kid, but we may have a better chance at this kid. 215, 350, 240. I know we're at the bottom of his list, but I'm not actually too worried about that. Let's take a chance on this kid. I don't mind doing that. So I'm going to go bypass this guy. I completely just looked over this Fields kid. Let's go after this guy. And it's a pipeline that we need to stick with, Maryland. So he's the best of the bunch in terms of corners. So that is it. Those are our 5 guys. Outside linebacker, Pat Wright. Local kid Kelly Love out of Willow Grove. Corner, Trey Fields out of Maryland. Then we got halfback Dave Stover out of New Jersey. And we got Freddie Bowers out of Pennsylvania. So we got 3 local guys we're going after. So that's cool that we got some local guys that can, I think, help us out. So those are the 5 guys. I'm really excited. Hopefully we can get at least 3 or 4 of them. So that is it. What we got coming up is our first game with Penn State. I'm really excited. We're going to take on arch rival Pittsburgh. Looks like we got way more talent than they do. We've already played Pittsburgh a bunch with Syracuse, so we know what to expect there. Hopefully we can get an easy win and take care of business. I can't wait, and I know you can't either. All right, guys. I'll talk to you later.